Here we go. Now that's fixed. Much better, less loud. Welcome everyone. Welcome to Grammar Review Stream number 2. 嬉しい。まあ僕も嬉しいよ。こうやって配信できる。Today, okay, as you can see in the title, we're gonna talk about verbs, which I teased last time. I also made the music a little bit louder. I realized that the music was extremely quiet last time, which is, I mean, it's fine for it to be quiet so that it's not distracting, right? But it was like almost whispering, where you couldn't even really tell it was music. So today we'll maybe leave it at this level. I think it's probably fine. Yeah. Anyways, welcome. We're gonna talk about the verbs, okay? The verbs, and why we're gonna talk about verbs. Multiple reasons. First of all, they're not that bad, like not that hard. You'll figure it out, okay? Panikuru. What would it be like panikuru? So panikutte. Panikutte naide. Panikutte naide. Don't panic, everyone. Don't panic. We'll figure it out, okay? Verbs. Verbs are very important. Konnichiwa. Right, konnichiwa, minasan. Welcome. Ongaku. Yeah, I love Nakamura Emi. I think she's really, really good. Okay, so we'll talk about verbs. Verbs are very important. Okay, wow. Oh, I'm muted. Wow. Was I muted the whole time? Well, that's very sad. I didn't even know this. Okay, I'm sorry guys, I was muted. So, there we go. Now we're gonna start for real. That's unfortunate. So, as you can already see on screen, we're gonna talk about verb classifications, okay? Verbs are very important. So, at least you could enjoy some music, I guess. Verbs are very important in Japan. Not the whole time, yeah, okay. Maybe I got muted somewhere in the middle there. So verbs are very important, and there's different ways to classify them. So I'm gonna like show you all the ways and sort of tell you which I prefer and which I don't. And then like probably the last one, which is known and used, is Godan and Ichidan. Oops. I know why I was I accidentally hit the button. There we go. Ichidan. What are... Right when you started writing, the sound muted. Oh, okay. So what are ones that you're familiar with here, right? I assume most of you are familiar with at least one of these, maybe all of them. And so like these are all the same, right? So usually all these refer to the same thing. These are all the same and these are all the same. They're all different ways. I've seen all of them, yeah. So this may be confusing, right? There's so many ways. There's so many ways to refer to them. So today I hope to clear that up a little. And I hope to bring you over to the bright side of the force, the light side of the force, away from the dark side, and start using this classification, Ichidan and Godan. Yeah, I like Ichidan and Godan. I also like Ichidan and Godan the best because it makes the most sense to me. Of course, there is nothing objectively wrong with these, with this one, or this one. I just prefer this one, okay? And I will explain why. Because for me personally, I think it just makes the most sense. So let's... I wonder if I can... Oof. Yeah, this is not gonna work, is it? Fill. Can I make it green and then do like... Don't know if this will work. Clearest, yeah, Ichi and can we like fill this? Oof, that's not it. Okay, never mind. Big brush. Yeah, the thing is with paint, I should maybe use something other than paint where I can actually use proper brushes. Okay, I can't go back further on this. So let's maybe there's like a big brush that I can use because this size, it just goes until here. It's not very useful. But okay, well actually I can leave this, but let's get rid of this. So I like Ichidan and Godan because it has the words 1 and 5 in there. And why is that useful? Well, you'll see in a second. I'm actually gonna have to prepare a kana table later on, because the kana table, okay, is very important to understand verb conjugation, in my opinion. Green fill. Yeah, I need to like find a way to green fill this, but I can't get the right color. Like, I can't get color 2 to be what I want. It's not working. Can I save this color? Edit colors. Custom color. Can I pick this? Gosh, it's so bad. Add. No, cancel. Okay, never mind. So, we'll look at dropped. You mean the dropper? Yeah, I'm trying to like pick up the colors, but it's not really doing it. So let's talk about Ichidan and Godan, okay? And also I'll look up those words for you. Okay, first of all we have Ichidan. Now Ichidan is really cool because it just means one step, okay? Ichidan verb conjugation. Ichidan katsuyo. Okay, katsuyo is conjugation. Ichidan is cool because it's one step, right? Like the dan is like a step or like stairs. And why is that so cool? Well, it's really cool because Ichidan verbs only have one root. They only have one stem form, okay? So I'll talk about Ichidan, which you do like pop, 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 pop. I think it's 3. Yeah, it's kind of 3, but the third one is sort of like this. I don't draw this kanji very often, so forgive me for my noobishness. But yeah, Ichidan. Ichidan. And then of course we have Godan. Godan has 5 stem forms, yeah. Here we go. Godan, same second kanji. Godan. Whoosh. Godan. And this has 1 stem. Like you can see here. 1. 1. Chi. Not as bad as it sounds. Yeah, it's not as bad as it sounds. And this has 5 stems, okay? And you'll see that they're exceedingly easy. They're not that bad, actually. You'll see that it's very, very easy. Hey, Koe, thank you for following. These have 5 stems. Okay, Go is 5, okay? And the cool thing is, if you remember them as Ichidan and Godan, you'll always remember which is which, because only one has 5. Like, this is always 5 and this is always 1, of course, right? So, let's look at what that means. And I'll just do like a little trick where I'll be like, bam. Ha. Wait, let's resize that. Okay. Here we go. Are you gonna talk about Aaron Butchman's Godan verb chart? I don't think I am, but I will talk about kana tables, so maybe I will, but I don't know who that person is. So maybe I just will because we have the same idea, but I'm not sure. Just added. Oh, cool. So let's talk about Ichidan verbs first, and for that we're gonna grab a kana table real quick, or at least we're gonna grab the first row of a kana table. Okay, so I'll put it over here. I'll put it in a nice blue color, so why not? I'm all doing my nicest handwriting. I, bu, e. I'm running out of space. O. Okay, I'm really running out of space now, but it's fine. Soothing colors, I know, right? So, a, I, u, e, o. As the keen-eyed amongst you may have noticed that this is in fact 5, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This will become important in 1 second. So, if we look at Ichidan verbs, I think the go-to verb, okay? I don't know what you guys... Actually, I'll ask you guys, what verb do you prefer for Ichidan? What's your favorite Ichidan verb? What's the verb that you think signifies Ichidan like no other verb? Which verb do you prefer? Because we'll pick the one that you like. Taberu. Yeah, that's mine. That's honestly... That would be probably my suggestion as well. I think no verb... Iku. Iku is a Godan... Well... Yeah, iku is officially a Godan verb, and then it has some peculiarities, but yeah. For now, let's go with taberu, because also taberu is like textbooks love taberu because they all use this as an example. So let's use taberu. Wait, I made this way too small. For some reason I was like, I am gonna add another part to this, but no. Taberu, which you spell like this. Okay, taberu. And I'll probably be writing in kana for the most part, because we're talking about conjugation and it makes most sense to talk in kana. Often in dictionaries you'll see this full stop. Everybody loves to eat. Yep. You'll see this full stop in the kana representation. All that means is after the full stop, after the period, is where the okurigana start. What about, you mean ku? Well, we'll talk about ku later, okay? For now, let's focus on this verb, taberu. Taberu is just to eat. This is an Ichidan verb. Why? Because all of its conjugations have the same stem. And the stem of taberu is just tabe, okay? So let's write down 5 times the stem. Okay, tabe. Write down 5 times the stem. 1, 2, tabe, 3. We'll do it 5 times so that we can later compare it to a Godan verb. Okay, tabe. And 5th time before I run out of space. Tabe. Okay. Now let's think about 5 conjugations. Okay. And the order of these will become apparent once we go to Godan. But for now, this order may seem arbitrary for you. So let's pick a red color because, I don't know, this is important. What is the first one? The first one is going to be our negative. What's the negative non-past conjugation of taberu? Someone? First one to get it gets my, I don't know, eternal gratitude. Tabenai, exactly. Tabenai. Tabenai, very good. Tabe. That's not very nice, no. Tabenai. Very nice. You got this, you guys. Next one, we're going to talk about what's the mas form of taberu. Should be fairly easy. Tabemasu. Yep. Tabehen. Almost. Well, that's Kansai then. But yeah. Tabemasu. Cool. What is... So this one, okay, will be our standard form, which we'll just do this. We'll call this the dictionary form for now. Taberu. Okay. What is the... Do you know the imperative of taberu? Do you know what is the imperative conjugation for taberu? No, tabete is more like asking someone to do it. So tabete is sort of an imperative, but I would say this is just the te form, which is its own conjugation. We'll look at the te form later, but for now I want the straight up imperative. When you're really ordering someone to eat, there's another form that you can use. Wow. Thanks for random thing. Cool. Maybe you haven't heard this one, or well, you've heard it. I'm sure you've heard it, but maybe you haven't learned it yet. It's tabero. Oops. Tabero. Tabero. Eat. Tabero. Exactly. Our last one will be the volitional. How do you say let's eat? Let's also get this here. Tabemashou. Okay, tabemashou is the polite volitional. Now let's think of the non-polite, the standard version. Tabeyo. Yeah, tabeyo. Let's eat. Tabeyo. You can also see it here. Here's a bunch more. You can see there's the imperative here, and then there's a bunch. So let's see if we scroll down. I'm sure there's like volitional somewhere in here as well, but I can't even find it because there's so many. But yeah, tabeyo. Tabeyo. Let's eat. Tabete. Okay. Tabeyo. Good. And with this, we have all 5 of our stems, okay? Which of course are all the same for taberu because it's an Ichidan verb. They all are the same. Now, let's pick a Godan verb. Anyone have a suggestion for a Godan verb? Oh, yeah, sorry. I scrolled too fast through those. I was just looking for it myself, actually. There's so many. There's too many, actually. There, that's the one I was looking for. Here, let me scroll there real quick. You see that? Volitional. Tabeyo. So hard to find sometimes. Hello, baby, cool. It's good to see you. So, does anyone have a favorite Godan verb? We'll use that one. It's your favorite Godan verb. As long as it's not like uketamawaru or something. I think uketamawaru is actually... Yeah, no, that's a Godan verb. So don't use that one because it's too long. I don't have space. But use a different one. Iku. Again, let's not use iku. Let me think real quick. Will it make a difference? I think it will not make a difference. It will not make a difference, so we can use iku. Okay, it will. Iku has an irregular te form, but other than that, we could use it. Kaku, kiku. Let's use one that doesn't have an irregular te form just to be sure. So we'll use one of those. Korosu. Sure, let's use korosu. Why not? I like that. I like the idea of that. Okay, let's write down the stems of korosu. For this now, we're gonna go in order of, again, negative, mas, dictionary form, imperative, and then lastly, volitional. Hey Kami, how are you? So, how do you say the negative of korosu? We lost to the meme. You've lost. So I'll actually write koro here because it starts with koro. Koro. Korosanai. Cool. Perfect. And I'll make this red. And you'll soon see a little pattern emerge. Korosanai. How do you say the mas form of koros? It starts with koro. Koro sensei. No, it starts with koro, obviously. Koroshimasu. Exactly. Shimasu. How do you say... Well, this is just korosu, so you don't really have to think much here. This is just a dictionary form. Korosu. Red. Okay. How do you say the imperative of korosu? If you want to command someone to kill someone, how would you say that? Korosozo. Korosuzo. Ah, korosuzo. Yeah. That's more like threatening someone. I'll kill you. How would you say? How would you command someone to kill someone? Do you know it? So, not quite. Koroseo. Nope, not quite. We're missing one. So, I thought you're skipping one ahead. Like the yo one would be the last one, but we're still on number 4. So, if you want to command someone to kill someone, it's actually korose. Oops. Korose. Yeah, Kami got it right. Koroshite. I wouldn't say it's polite as such, but yeah, it's te form. Koroso. And then koroso, Koko already took it here. So first, korose. Korose! Korose! And then the last one will be koroso, which is the volitional, which means, hey, let's kill. Let's go kill. Which is a bit of a weird thing to say, but it's grammatically valid, so. Koroso. And now, we have a magical little pattern, okay? And the magical little pattern that I would want you to pay attention to is these kana, okay? Sa, shi, su, se, and so. What is that pattern? Well, it's exactly the pattern that I wrote down here. A, I, U, E, O. You have one each, actually. You have one stem, and these are considered stems, so there would be like, this would be the end of the stem form. This would be considered just the dictionary form, which itself is kind of a stem form. Korose is also a stem form because, for example, if you add ru to this, now it becomes what is known as the potential form, which means I can kill. The potential form is always made by taking the imperative stem, which is korose, and then adding ru. Okay, and that goes for any verb, which is really cool. Except for Ichidan verbs, where they're a bit different, okay? But Ichidan verbs aren't that bad. Ichidan verbs, you learn it once and you're good, basically. So, and then we have this koroso, which is so. So you have the stem with so, and then u, okay? Or you could also say this is the whole stem thing. Okay, now that's the takeaway that I want to emphasize here. These correspond each one to one of the 5 syllables, right? One of the 5 vowels. Hey Papakung, how are you doing? So each of these stems corresponds to one of the 5 vowels. And this is true for any Godan verb. And to prove to you that it is true, we'll go through a few more, okay? But now I'll just say it. And then I'll slowly say it, but you can look on the screen and you can compare with korosu. So let's use the ones that you were suggesting before. Let's use kiku. Kiku is to listen, okay? The negative, lurk, yes, lurk mode. Kiku, in its negative, kikanai. It has an a, right? Kikanai. Okay. Kikimasu. It has an i. Kikimasu. It's an i. Kiku itself, the stem form or the dictionary form, ends in u, because all verbs always end in u in their dictionary form. There is not a single verb in Japanese, in modern Japanese, and even in classical, I think, but whatever. Let's not talk about classical Japanese. In modern Japanese, there is not a single verb that does not end in the vowel u, okay? This is like the defining thing. A verb has to end in an u sound. Whether it is ru or ku or su, anything like this. A verb can never, a verb in its dictionary form can never not be any kana in the, it's called the urang, I think. Is it rang and gyo? Wait, I think so. Rang and gyo, I'm pretty sure. Like, nemui. Well, nemui is a adjective. Nemui is an adjective. If it doesn't end in u, just add suru, yes. But suru itself also ends in u. Nemui is an adjective. Nemui. See? Adjective. It's an e adjective, actually. Nemui, because it's nemukunai. It's my favorite word. Nice. Always nemui. Always gotta be nemui. Okay. So where were we? Right, so kikimasu is i. Kiku is u. Well, how would you say then, like, applying this pattern, what would you think is the imperative of kiku? Right? And what is the volitional of kiku? What is like number 5 for kiku? If you apply this pattern here. Kike. Yeah. Kike. Listen. Kike. Exactly. And what would be the volitional? Kiko. Yeah, Kiko. Let's listen. So, I hope you can already see that knowing this pattern makes it very easy for you to find the conjugations of any Godan verb. Because all you have to know is you have to look at a verb like kiku that we just looked at. Hey Noah. You have to look at a verb like kiku. And you have to realize that it ends in ku, okay? So this last ku, you look at the last... Oh, I love everyone. I love all of you. You have to see that it ends in this ku, okay? And then you just start conjugating the ku. And you can do this for any Godan verb. You always just look at the last kana. Collect your brain. Yes. Mind blown. I think this doesn't get explained properly enough in like a lot of textbooks or whatever. I think it's so cool that there's this pattern, this like intuitive pattern that like directly applies to the kana table. I think it's really cool, which is why I really like teaching this, because I think it's really cool. So kiku, you always just like, you know it's a Godan verb. First of all, you have to first make sure that it's a Godan verb, okay? There is some traps. There are some traps like kaeru, okay? Kaeru, which means to go home. Yeah, we'll go... Rabbit, we'll get into how to differentiate them soon, okay? How proficient do you have to be to follow these lessons? This one I would consider a fairly beginner lesson, but I would assume you know at least what verbs are and sort of what they look like and what they do, right? Like I would assume for this lesson what I would say you have to know is at least the kana table. You have to know hiragana and katakana, or at least hiragana. You have to know at least kind of what a verb is and what it does in Japanese. Okay? And you have to sort of understand what I mean when I say conjugation. That's like, I would say what would the requirement for this is. Not that much here. Okay, so does it even say Godan or Ichidan? It doesn't, because this dictionary doesn't say it. Most English people pronounce for U. Yeah, I try, because it's not U, right? It's not korosu, it's korosu. I try to pay close attention to my pronunciation. It's not perfect. So, kaeru is a bit of an annoying one, because kaeru is actually a Godan verb, even though it ends in ru, okay? But what's cool, okay? What's cool is any verb, okay? Any verb that doesn't end in ru. So if it's a verb and it doesn't end in ru, like not ru, okay? I kind of rolled that one. Any verb that doesn't end in ru is always Godan, okay? So if I ask you is like ku, is this Godan or Ichidan? You know it's Go, okay? I'll make a 5 for Godan. You know this is Godan. It has to be. Because an Ichidan verb can never end not in ru. Can never not end in ru. Imagine your alphabet pronunciation being a disaster. You know, you say English people say quiet, but kawaii. Amazing. So when I give you any verb, okay, and it is not ru, then you'll always be like, well, that's obviously a Godan verb, because any Ichidan verb has to at least end in ru, okay? So if it doesn't end in ru, it cannot be an Ichidan verb. It can never be an Ichidan verb. The tricky thing is just that some verbs that happen to end in ru, right, like kaeru, kaeru happens to end in ru, okay? But it's still Godan, okay? It's still Godan, even though it happens to end in ru. There's exceptions. Same for shiru. Shiru, to know. Shiru, to know. I'll put it into the dictionary so you can see it. Shiru, to know. It happens to end in ru, but it's still a Godan verb, okay? But at the very least, if I give you a verb that ends in like su, okay, like hanasu, you know, well, this is a Godan verb, okay? Because if it's not ru, it's always Godan. That's one way to tell them apart. Shiranai. First sentence people taught me. Shiranai. Yeah. And if you pay attention here, shiranai. Okay. Negative form, it ends in an a, or it has a stem form with a. Okay. Shiranai. So this pattern is really, really universal. It applies to every word, which is the cool thing. This is not English where it's like you learn the word, you know, to be, and suddenly it conjugates in am and are and was and all these weird things. No, this is almost completely universal. There's like what people often say in Japanese, there is only really 2 big exception words, okay? There's 2 big exceptions, and those are suru and kuru. I mean, think about this, okay? 2 verbs are considered exceptions. 2 out of thousands. Isn't that amazing? I think this is one of the most amazing things about Japanese. It's so consistent. In English, basically, like, I feel like there's more exceptions than there's rules. It's pretty nice. It's pretty nice. What about to eat? Taberu. So, taberu is an Ichidan verb, right? Easier than English. Yeah, see, because also in English, easier than English, you would spell then with an A. So already we've proven that English is pretty hard. Cool. So, again, to review this, Godan verbs, and I'll make some space here, and we'll make like a little 1 here for Ichidan, and we'll make a 5 here for Godan. 5, Godan. Okay. Nope, English is easy compared to French or Polish. I don't know, man. I always found French to be grammatically easier than English. gladly. English is not my first language. I mean, is that really a good thing? If English is your first language, you have lots of advantages. But to not stray too far off topic, we have these two, okay? Ichidan verbs, which always are the same. Tabe, 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 tabe. Tabe, 5. And then we have Godan verbs, where the last syllable changes into one of each of the 5 vowels. And there's only 5 vowels in Japanese. There's only a, I, u, e, o. Okay? So this is the point to take home from today's lesson. If not anything, this is what you should take home. This is what you should write down. There are those 5. Godan has 5 stem forms. Okay, cool. Now there's multiple ways that we could move on now. Maybe just a quick review, okay, so that we can look into what these conjugations are. Number 1, korosanai, negative form, okay? We'll call this the negative form, the N form, whatever. Negative, koroshimasu is mas stem, mas form, polite form. Let's call it P for polite form. Koros, this is dictionary form, we'll call it D for dictionary form. The standard form, it's called a dictionary form because literally this is how the words are written down in a Japanese dictionary. If you open a dictionary and you look for verbs, this is how they're written down. This is the form that they're in. Suru and kuru are not Ichidan or Godan. Yeah, no, suru and kuru are not really considered Ichi or Go. Kuru is, you could argue kuru is a Godan verb. Suru, not really either. Suru is kind of special. Because it doesn't make much sense that suru would become shimasu, right? How would you fit this into that pattern? From suru to shimasu, right? And kuru is irregular because you have weird things such as kuru konai. Now suddenly the first kana also changes. That's irregular. Say, okay, this is imperative. This is when you're commanding someone, okay? So we can make an exclamation mark here. This is so we'll call this volitional, which means let's, right? Let's go. Let's kill in this case. When I learned about the types of verb, I learned about group 1 and group 2. Never knew that there are also Ichidan and Godan verbs. Yeah, so at the start of this lesson, I also mentioned group 1 and group 2. I personally prefer the names Ichidan and Godan due to the reasons I just explained. The nice duality between the words Ichi and Go, 1 and 5. It's just very easy to remember which is which. You basically can never get it wrong because you'll always remember, well, Godan has 5 stems, so Godan must be this one. I don't know. I mean, in the end, okay, in the end, if you conjugate them right, it doesn't matter. If you get it right, that's fine. It's more a matter of what is easiest for you, and what I think is easiest is treating them as Ichidan and Godan. Lunch is over. Oh no! Okay, so now let's look at some more conjugations, maybe. Yeah, let's look at some more conjugations. Let's look at te form next, okay? I hope you got this like here. If you wanna maybe go back and make a screenshot of that or something, or take notes, I don't know, but these will be, of course, these will be as highlights on Twitch, so you can always go back and watch them again, or you can always, like, you know, go back and take screenshots, or what I would maybe even like recommend, I don't know, like take notes while we do this, treat this as a class, I don't know, would be kind of fun, right? Okay. No, thanks for you're welcome. We'll do some more explanations now. We'll talk about te form. Te form, okay? Who knows? Like, how would, if I ask you, what is te form? What would you explain? How would you explain it to me? How would you say, well, this is what te form is, and this is what it does? You can, or try and, like, I'm taking notes, actually, very nice. I'm proud. Te form. How would you explain to me what te form is? Kind of like a comma. Interesting, yeah. Working on my handwriting at the same time. That's a good idea. Conjunctive form. See, that's very fancy. I like that. It's very good. Very linguistic there. Connecting verbs to nouns. Not really, no. You don't need... No, you don't use te form to connect verbs to nouns. You use te form to connect verbs to other verbs. And that's what I would probably say. Asking someone to do something. Yeah, that's also true. You can use te form there. We'll also look at that. click afterwards. So my base version, if I had to explain te form in one sentence, I would say it is a form that connects verbs to each other. Okay, it's a form that connects verbs to each other. And think of this as in the most general sense that you can imagine. Not like it connects them like causally, I don't know, like cause and effect relation, you know. It doesn't connect them like temporally, strictly. It's all of those things, or none of them. It depends. It's a very broad concept. It just connects verbs, okay? Combines two actions. Yeah, it combines two actions in some way, okay? In some way. and like there's a bunch of different ways that it can happen. So, for Ichidan verbs, I'll make another one because that's the notation we used for Ichidan verbs, okay? For Ichidan verbs, this is fairly simple. What's the te form of taberu? What's the te form of taberu? Noto. Hey Miko, it's good to see you. Tabete. Straightforward, right? You've probably all learned this. Te form of taberu. You take the ru and you just replace it with te. Okay? That's all it is, and that's for any Ichidan verb. Other examples may be, for example, like kakeru, kakete, or hashiru, hashite. Okay? Hashiru, hashitte. Wait, hashiru. Is hashiru even an Ichidan verb? Hashiranai de. It's the Godan verb, never mind. Got it wrong. Someone asked me about the te form, it would just be like, hell if I know. Well, you gotta explain it somehow, right? Not hashiru. What's another one? For example, like, you know. See, now I can't even think of Ichidan verbs. It's always like you put on the spot, right? But yeah, kakeru, for example. Neru. Yeah, neru. Nete, okay. What got you into learning Japanese? You know, it was fun. I found it accidentally and I just started learning it. So, te form for Ichidan verbs, very simple. You just take away the ru, okay? So we can basically break down the whole process into this. Ru into te. And that's it, okay? That's all there is. That's all you need to know for Ichidan verbs. So let's switch to Godan verbs. And this is a bit more involved. Okay? And for this, let's look at a... let's imagine the kana table, okay? I hope you can all imagine the kana table. What are all the different endings that could appear for a Godan verb? Like, what are all the kana that a Godan verb could end in? Just put them in chat. All the kana you can think of that a Godan verb could end in. And then we'll see if we can get all of them. There's not that many, but yeah. Ku. Okay, ku is one. Su is one. Write these down. Su. Ku, ru, su, bu, nu, u. Yes, yes. U. Bu. Se, not se. Nu, yes. Nu. And what others one? What did I miss? Ru, nu, nu, se. Hu. Tsu. Very good, very good. Hu. We'll maybe reorder some of these, so I'll put hu here, okay? So that it's right next to the other. That is right next to bu. And then gu, we'll put gu here. And then we have tsu, so we'll put tsu here. I think we're getting a bit closer now. Su, zu. Yeah, zu is good. Zu. Is that a... Let me think. Is there any verb that actually ends in zu? I'm not sure. I don't think so. Ru. Yeah, ru is definitely one. Ru. Nu is only used for one verb. Yeah. I don't think a verb can end in zu. I don't think so. I might be wrong here if someone finds one. No verbs end in... Oh yeah, you're right. So no, that's also another one. Yeah, no, you are totally right there. No verbs actually also end in fu. There's no verbs that end in fu. And there's no verbs that end in zu. But not that there, like, is a rule. Well, maybe there is a rule, but there just happens to be no verbs that end in those letters. But I think we have most of them, so we can go through, like, ku, su, tsu, We forgot actually one. I don't think anyone put this in chat. We forgot about mu. So we have mu. I can't even write. There. Mu. There you go. Mu. But I think we have all of them now. Maybe if someone sees that we are missing one. Okay. And now we can write down how to form the te form out of each of these. So now we'll do this in 2 steps, okay? I'll ask you, give me a verb that ends in ku, and then we'll figure out what the te form is. So let's start with ku. Give me a verb that ends in ku. And I'll just make a little arrow. Just draw some arrows while people are typing. Kaku, kaki, kaku, kiku, kaku. Here, it's all easy. This is the hardest part of verbs. From there, it's all... Yes, that's definitely true. So, you're right. Kaku. What's the te form of kaku? We'll make this in blue. Nice blue color. It's the te form of kaku. I found te forms easy. Yeah, they're not hard, but it's something that you have to remember. Kaite. Exactly. Ku turns into ite. Next one. Someone wrote tsu ending already, right? Yeah, you're right. Someone did write tsu. I just forgot to write it down. Okay, ite. Next one, su. Matsu. Okay, let's do matsu. Why not? What's the te form of matsu? And also hanasu is good. You can do both ones at the same time. What's te form of matsu and te form of hanasu? Matte. Exactly. So, matsu turns into small tsu with te. Matte. What's the te form of hanasu? Hanashite. Yeah, good. Su turns into shite. What is the te form, or think of a verb that ends in u? What is a verb that ends in u? Arau. Okay, cool. What's the te form of arau? Or kau? Kau is also a good one. Ku. Or my favorite u verb is kuru. Kuru. I like kuru. It means to go mad. Asobu. Asonde. Okay, so we have one for bu and we have one for kau. So, kau turns into small tsu and te. Katte. And we have one for bu as well. Asobu. Asonde. Nde. Okay. And shinu. Shinde. Very good. So, nu turns into nde. Now we're missing one for gu. Is there any verb that ends in gu? There's some fancy ones that end in gu that I can think of. Like, isogu. Yeah, isogu. There's some real fun verbs I think that end in gu, like kutsurogu. Kutsurogu. Kutsurogu means to make one feel at home. Kutsurogu. Or another one that's kind of nice is what was the other one I was thinking of? Oyogu, to swim. It's also a very good one. I forgot the other one I was thinking of, but tsugu. Tsugu is also a really nice one. Tsugu means to inherit, to succeed, right? To take over. Ato tsugu means to take over after someone. So we had gu, which is ide, of course, and you can see the parallel here with ku. So ku turns into ite, and gu, which is voiced, turns into ide, which is also voiced or has tenten. So there's this pattern here that also works. This little pattern. Mu. Maybe someone already posted one for mu. Nope, not yet. What's a verb that ends in mu? Kakomu. Very nice. Kakomu. Is that? That is kakomu, I'm pretty sure. Yomu. Yonde. Yeah. Nomu. To drink. Kakomu. Kakomu means to surround, to enclose. So, mu turns in nde. You can see there's a lot of them that turn into nde. Nde. And the last one. What's a Godan verb that ends in ru? Now make sure to pick a Godan and another Ichidan verb. But there's plenty. There's definitely a lot of them. We looked at some of them before. Kairu, yeah. Kairu is one of the, I think, one of the trickiest ones. What's the te form of kairu? Kaite. Exactly. And we're done. At least I think we're done. I think we didn't miss any kana. If someone realizes we missed one, then do point it out to me. But I think we've got them all. So like you have su, we have su. Did we have su? Yeah, we have su, we have ku, and then next would be tsu, and then would be the ku, so bu, nu, du. Yeah, that's it. There's no verbs that end in yu, so we're good. I think we have all of them. That's it. That's te form. If you know this, you're done. You got a snapshot. Yeah, perfect. You can screenshot this. If you know this, you know te form. That's all there is to it, except for the exception verbs, suru and kuru. What's the te form of suru? If you, while we're at it, right? What is suru? Oops, what's wrong? Suru turns into shite. Yeah, there you go. So that's fairly easily absorbed, I would say. And what's the te form of kuru? Kuru as in to come. Kite. There you go. Kite. Come. That's it. Now you also know the past tense. Exactly. So what Kami said is absolutely true. If you want to go from te form to past tense, all you have to do is take... So let's make this a red color. If you want to go from te form to past tense, all you have to do is take te and turn it into ta. Or take de and turn it into da. Now, you just learned how to conjugate every verb in Japanese. Every single word. Let that sink in. You've just learned how to conjugate every single word that exists. Every single verb that exists in the Japanese language into te form, into past tense, and probably also a bunch of others. So you've basically learned. What we just learned today, what we just reviewed today, is arguably about 90% of what you need to know about Japanese verbs. The rest, or let me rephrase that, is 90% of what you need to know about how conjugation works. Okay, conjugation rules. But if you know this, what we did today, you're like 90% done, okay? This is all you'll ever do, basically. There's, of course, more nuance to conjugation, but that comes more from understanding when to use them. Yes, so past tense ta is not a conjunctive anymore. It is a past tense form. Informal past tense are different from mashita. It is informal past tense, but what you can think about is mas is really an auxiliary verb. And so mas is a Godan auxiliary verb, and that's how you conjugate it, right? Think about it. Mas. If I tell you how to conjugate mas, and it's a Godan verb, that's exactly how you conjugate it. Su turns into shite, okay? Mashite. Past tense would be mashita. There's even imperative forms, mase, right? Like hanashimase, but you don't use that as much. But you hear it in words such as irashaimase. This is an imperative form. It's a bit archaic, but it's imperative. It means come in, like come. You're telling him to come. Irashaimase. It's an imperative form. And masho. Masho is also the same. You take the su and you turn it into... you take the shi, mas. Well, okay, this is where it kind of breaks down a little bit. Because it's not 100%. I think mas is an irregular verb as far as that's concerned. But yeah, we're not irregular, but it's an old conjugation that doesn't exist anymore. I think it's called yondan or whatever. So don't worry about that, okay? But it has the same rules. As long as you remember how to conjugate mas, you can conjugate any verb in polite form, right? Because it's always the same. It's always just a matter of conjugating mas. And the rest is just this, what you see on screen right now. Learning te form is extremely, extremely important. So there's two ways how schools usually teach this, where one is you learn past tense first, ta, and then you learn te form, and you switch from ta to te, or you learn te form first, and then you switch to past tense by exchanging the te for the ta. I think neither one is better than the other. It's basically equivalent. But now that you know this, you can conjugate any verb into the past tense, you can conjugate any verb into the te form, and you're basically Nihongo jozu, okay? So if you tell this, if you'll be like, go to your Japanese friends and you're like, hey, I can conjugate all verbs into te form and past tense, they'll be like, oh, Nihongo jozu desu ne, okay? So I think that's where we'll stop it for today. I can still answer some questions if there's questions, but I think as far as grammar topics are concerned, we'll stop here for today. And then I already have an idea for next time. Next time we'll talk about how to use the te form, what it does, how to, specifically also when not to use it, okay? Like how you use it and how you don't use it. Yes, you're now ready to play Stein's game, basically. You're now ready to move to Japan. So next time we'll talk about te form. There's a lot to say about te form. There's a lot to say about how not to use it, how to use it, and all the little nuances that it can have or cannot, and it does not, and all of these things. So if you have any questions about verbs, about conjugation, about tense, now is the time to ask them. Now would also be a great time to follow. If you're not already following Game Grammar, consider following this channel because I do lots of this stuff. So if you're into this, then now would be a great time to click that button. And also, now is a great time to join our Discord, okay? So if you wanna send me questions on Discord, you can also do that. And also, well, you can also send questions on YouTube, I guess, but yeah. Hey, why did Discord not work? I'm sure I made that command. Discord. There you go. So you can join the Discord as well, where you can discuss with other people about your grammar needs or your Japanese needs or whatever. Okay, let's see. And the song is also just over, which is great timing, really, I think. It's almost fate, actually. Okay, yeah, I don't know. Nyasaki is still streaming, so maybe we'll host Nyasaki. Except if anyone has a channel that they wanna... Except if anyone has a channel that they're like, Eve, you have to rate that channel because it does like Japanese stuff and it's so cool, then we'll rate that one. If not, we'll rate Nyasaki. Thank you guys for watching. It was pleasant. It was very fun, as always. Since you seem to enjoy this as well, I will definitely keep doing these streams as well. Whenever I have an idea of something we could discuss, if you have ideas for what you want to talk about, things that you're like, hey Eve, can you explain this to me? Which, disclaimer, I may or may not be able to explain it. Some things are really complicated, okay? But some things I can explain. So if you're like, hey, this grammar really confuses me, can you talk about this? Then yeah, sure. And until then, let's start that raid, which is sent to viewers right back there. I was actually watching Nyasaki play earlier. So we'll just go right back to her, say hi. And I will see you guys here in a few days. In, what, 2 days, right? Yeah, 2 days. Friday. There's a countdown, so don't miss it. Thanks for watching, guys. Goodbye, good night. Have a fun time over at Nyasaki's channel.